What if I told you that a man's obsession with you doesn't start with your beauty, your kindness, or how much you give, but the moment you hurt his ego just enough to make him question his power over you? Sounds cruel, maybe, but let's talk about reality, not fairy tale. The truth is, men aren't wired to fall in love with comfort. They fall in love with uncertainty, contrast, and emotional tension. And nothing shakes a man's emotional core more than a woman who refuses to inflate his ego just because he's used to being praised, pursued, and prioritized. There's a powerful psychological shift that happens when a woman stops operating from approval-seeking behavior and instead taps into her emotional detachment, her standards, and her unwillingness to feed male entitlement. That shift is magnetic. It triggers something primal in him. He doesn't just want your attention, he needs to earn it. And when he can't, that's when he spirals into craving, overthinking, and chasing. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to flip the dynamic, not by playing games, but by understanding one brutal truth. The moment a man feels emotionally uncertain, his attractions skyrocket. You'll learn how to hold back in a way that's elegant, how to bruise his ego without breaking his spirit, and how to make him fall madly in love with the challenge that is you. Because love isn't about being available, it's about being unforgettable. And sometimes being unforgettable means being unimpressed. Let's begin. There's a dangerous lie many women are told from a young age. If you're nice enough, patient enough, understanding enough, he'll see your worth and love you right. But let's tell the truth. Being the nice girl in modern dating often doesn't lead to being chosen. It leads to being overlooked, undervalued, or worse, emotionally drained. Nice girls finish emotionally last because they give from a place of hoping to be chosen rather than expecting to be respected. They constantly try to prove they're different from the rest. They tolerate inconsistent behavior, overlook red flags, make excuses for broken promises, and say yes when their soul is screaming no. All in the name of love. But here's the cold reality. Men don't fall for the woman who makes their life easy. They fall for the woman who makes them feel something real. Tension, desire, challenge, intrigue. And the woman who's always available, always agreeable, always giving. She doesn't create emotional tension. She creates comfort. And comfort breeds complacency. It's not that kindness is the problem. It's kindness without boundaries, love without self-respect, patience with no standards. That's what gets you taken for granted. Because the more you give without requiring anything in return, the more he subconsciously assumes your love is cheap. And love that feels cheap never earns loyalty, effort, or deep emotional investment. The nice girl often ends up as the emotional safety net, the therapist, the fallback, the woman he calls when his real life is falling apart, but not the one he fights to keep because she gave her heart before he proved he deserved it. She showed loyalty before commitment. She gave the girlfriend experience before she even knew if she was the priority. Meanwhile, the woman who sets boundaries, who says no with grace, who doesn't chase, who lets a man feel the weight of her absence, she commands attention, not because she's playing games, but because she's not afraid to walk away. And that energy, calm, secure, self-contained, is addictive. So if you've been the nice girl, it's not too late. But you need to wake up to the fact that overgiving is not love. It's self-abandonment disguised as kindness. Love that costs your peace, your voice, and your self-worth is not love. It's sacrifice, and not the kind that builds a future. Stop trying to earn your place in a man's life. By being the easiest, the most patient, or the most understanding, start taking up space with your standard, because the right man won't make you feel like being kind is a weakness. He'll meet your kindness with consistency. He'll match your softness with structure. And most importantly, he'll respect you, not because you tolerated everything, but because you never had to. You don't have to stop being nice. You just have to stop being nice to people who don't deserve you. There's a hidden switch inside almost every man, a trigger wired directly to his ego. And once you flip it, his behavior starts to shift in ways you never expected. He calls more, he tries harder, he starts thinking about you in the middle of the day. That switch, it's not love, it's not even compatibility. It's his desire to prove himself to you, a desire fueled by one powerful emotion, uncertainty. You see, most men are used to being admired, complimented, validated for the bare minimum. And when a woman shows interest too quickly, gives access too easily, or communicates that she's already emotionally attached before he's earned it, his ego doesn't have to work. There's no tension, no challenge, no desire to chase. He may like you, but he doesn't crave you. Because craving is born from lack, not abundance. The real ego trigger is subtle, and it starts when you interrupt the pattern of easy validation. You don't text back right away. You don't overshare. You don't rush to accommodate his schedule. You maintain your mystery. You smile, but with restraint. You're warm, but not eager. He can feel you like him, but he can't tell how much. And that not knowing, that's what sets off the chase, because the male ego is addicted to earning. He wants to win. He wants to feel that he conquers something rare. If he knows you're already emotionally his without putting in real effort, the ego relaxes, the pursuit dies. But when you show him that he has to work to access your emotional world, that's when the game begins in his head. He doesn't just want to talk to you. He needs. He doesn't just want your time. He wants your approval. And when he doesn't get it right away, he starts working harder to secure it. This doesn't mean being manipulative or playing hard to get with no intention to connect. It means understanding that your emotional availability is sacred, that your presence is a privilege, not a prize, that he automatically wins just by showing up. You're not rejecting him. You're just not handing him what he hasn't earned. And here's the beautiful twist. When a man's ego is triggered in this way, not by cruelty or arrogance, but by your composure and self-worth, he starts seeing you differently. Not just as another woman, but as the woman, the one who made him feel uncertain, inspired, challenged, and aligned. The one who doesn't flinch when he pulls back. The one he can't impress with cheap words or shallow attention. The one he needs to win over. Not because she's playing games, but because she knows who she is. And that's the key. It's not about hurting his ego just to hurt him. It's about protecting your energy in a way that makes his ego wake up and say, she's not like the rest, and I'm not letting her go. When it comes to love, most women are taught to be predictable, to text back fast, be consistent, be available, be sweet, and make sure he knows how much he means to you. But here's the truth. No one tells you predictability kills desire. Certainty feels safe, yes, but it rarely feels exciting. And men don't chase what feels certain. They chase what feels just out of reach. Unpredictability doesn't mean being flaky or toxic. It means being multidimensional. It means you're not emotionally dependent on his validation, his schedule, or his moods. It means your life doesn't revolve around when he calls or whether he gives you attention. You're emotionally centered, but you're also unreadable in the most magnetic way. Think about it. The moment he knows what you'll say, how you'll respond, that you'll always be there, the game is over. Not because he stops liking you, but because his mind stops being stimulated. Men need emotional tension to stay engaged. It's the uncertainty, the I don't know if she's all in yet, that keeps them leaning forward. And here's where most women make the mistake. They give him everything too soon. Their schedule, their emotions, their attention, their approval. Without even realizing it, they become fully transparent. And while that might feel loving, it strips away the mystique that fuels attraction. The power of unpredictability is in keeping him emotionally alert. He doesn't know if you're free tonight because sometimes you're not. He doesn't know if that look you gave him meant you're impressed or just being polite. He doesn't know if he's winning you over or still earning your trust. That slight uncertainty doesn't repel him. It pulls him in. It makes him curious, invested, and most importantly, emotionally active. And when a man is emotionally active, he starts associating his highs and lows with you. Every moment he wonders about you. Every second he replays your last conversation. Every time he questions whether he said the right thing, you're becoming part of his emotional wiring. And that's when he starts to fall. Not because you were easy to read, but because you were unexpected in a world full of women trying too hard to be liked. Unpredictability also signals one powerful truth. You have options. You're not clinging to the out. You're not desperate to lock anything down. You're open but not needy. Warm but not chasing. Feminine but not desperate. And that subtle difference is what keeps high-value men coming back. So if you've ever wondered why things fizzled out after giving you all, ask yourself this. Did he know too much too fast? Did you become predictable before he had a chance to miss you? In love, mystery is not manipulation, it's protection, it's power. And it's the one thing that makes a man stop in his tracks and ask himself, who is she really? And how do I make her mine before someone else does? There's something unsettling, almost magnetic about a woman who doesn't react, who doesn't chase, who doesn't crumble when he pulls away. And while society may label her as cold, to a man she feels powerful. Why? Because in a world where so many women respond emotionally, over-explain, or try to fix what's broken, she becomes the one thing he can't control. And that's what shakes him. Coldness in the context of dating doesn't mean cruelty. It's not about being distant just to punish her. It's about the emotional restraint of a woman who doesn't beg for clarity, doesn't plead for love, and doesn't collapse into panic the moment she feels uncertainty. It's the poise she carries when she doesn't get what she wants and doesn't fall apart because of it. That level of detachment isn't just rare, it's unnerving to a man who's used to having control. Here's what most people don't understand. Men are drawn to what makes them feel alive. And when a woman is overly warm, overly expressive, or always emotionally available, she becomes emotionally safe. She becomes the steady background noise he eventually stops noticing. But when she responds with silence, when she doesn't mirror his energy, when she withdraws with elegance and gives him nothing to feed his ego, that absence starts echoing in his mind. He'll replay her reactions, try to decode her silence, wonder why she didn't react, and most of all, he'll feel that unfamiliar sensation he's not in control. That's what coldness does. It disrupts his ego. And that disruption, it sparks desire. Because desire isn't born in certainty, it's born in the gap between what he wants and what he's actually getting. Coldness also communicates this. I don't need to be chosen by you. I've already chosen myself. And that energy is terrifyingly attractive. It tells him she has boundaries. She won't tolerate breadcrumbs. He's willing to walk away. That's power. And men respect, even obsess over women they can't emotionally shake. Ironically, the colder you are in key emotional moments, the more he feels pulled in. It's reverse psychology on a primal level. Your silence makes more noise than your word. Your distance creates more intimacy than your attention. Your indifference makes him feel more, not less. Because here's the truth. When a man knows he can emotionally rock you, he stops valuing you. But when he senses that you can vanish with grace, with zero drama and zero desperation, that's when his mind spirals. That's when he starts chasing. Not because you manipulated him, but because you mastered your emotional discipline. So the next time you're tempted to react, to explain, to soften your stance, just to keep the peace, pause. Let the silence speak. Let your absence do the heavy lifting. Because in that space, he won't just feel your coldness, he'll feel your power. And he'll realize that if he doesn't show up right, he'll lose something he can't replace. One of the most painful traps women fall into is overinvesting emotionally in a man far too early. It starts subtly, answering every text within seconds, rearranging your schedule to accommodate his, thinking about where the relationship is going after only a few dates, reading into every word he says, and hoping he's the one. But here's the hard truth. Emotional overinvestment too soon doesn't make a man love you more. It makes him value you less. When a man senses that you've become emotionally attached before he's even shown consistent effort, the dynamic shifts. He no longer has to earn your affection. He doesn't feel the need to impress you. The mystery fades, the challenge disappears, and worst of all, he starts to feel in control. The emotional scale becomes unbalanced, with you constantly giving, hoping, and overthinking while he sits back comfortably detached. But the real danger of overinvesting isn't just that it turns him off. It's that it disconnects you from your own power. You stop abandoning yourself to gain him. You stop listening to your intuition. You overlook red flags. You excuse bad behavior. You confuse chemistry for compatibility. And before you know it, your emotional world revolves around a man who hasn't even proven he deserves to be at the center of it. So how do you stop overinvesting? It starts with a mental shift. He is not the prize. You are. His attention is not a gift. Your energy is. Stop seeing every interaction as a step toward forever. Instead, treat the early stages for what they are, a trial period. He's not your man until he proves himself through consistent action over time. No more falling in love with potential. No more fantasizing about who he could be. You only respond to who he actually is in real time. The key is emotional discipline. Don't rush to emotionally bond just because you feel chemistry. Let him earn access to your deeper self. Observe more, attach less. Don't overshare, don't overexplain. Don't offer emotional intimacy that hasn't been reciprocated with effort and consistency. Protect your peace until it's safe to open up. Also, build a full life outside of him. Pour into your passions, your friendships, your goal. When your life is full, you don't feel the urge to emotionally attach to someone prematurely because you know you're already whole without them. That energy, the energy of fullness, confidence, and calm detachment is what makes a man invest in you, not the other way around. And remember, you don't have to be cold to be powerful. You just have to be selective. Every time you pause, before overgiving, before emotionally spiraling, before chasing, you're honoring